I'm Marilyn Ahrens, and this is the second YouTube video on special education. Yes, we can. I'm here today with Mr. Nick DeCrease and his mom, Polly. We're in Claymont, Delaware, and there are a few things I'd like to discuss and address before we begin the main substance of the video today. The focus of what we're trying to do is to create a national parent coalition of special education and those committed to reforming special education in the United States. There is no disagreement that special education in our country is an absolute disaster. The law that controls it, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, is a law in name only and is not enforced in any state. And now it appears, well, hello, this is Brutus? Brutus. And Brutus has joined us, I'm thrilled. So because of this abdication of state and federal governments to enforce special ed laws, it appears that the only ones really out there to do it are parents. So since I posted the video 1 month ago, there have been 1,111 hits and many additional emails in addition to those hits from every state, and those emails were sent to glovespti@yahoo.com. To have that many hits at this particular time of year and in this economy is a testament to the urgency all of us feel in fixing this broken special education system. The two states most heavily represented in the emails were from Delaware and from Texas. As I said, I'm in Delaware today with Nick and with Polly. Before I turn this over to Nick and to Polly, there are some people I want to thank and some observations and comments about your input over the last 4 weeks. First, I want to thank Sandy Winkleman for her efforts and support of this national parent movement effort. She has been an inspiration to all of us in her ongoing struggle and litigation against the Parma, Ohio Board of Education on behalf of her son, Jacob. Second, I want to thank Rhonda Loving from Texas for her thoughts and writing contribution. Here is an excerpt from her essay that she titled, "We the People Must Unite for Our Rights." Rhonda wrote, 30 years of a law, IDEA, and there is no restitution for the families or the children by the failure of the public education system to educate them. It should be considered educational malpractice. Yet we send our kids to school with a public trust that they are going to be educated through the laws as they are currently mandated to do. Now we are ready to do whatever is needed to make the next generation of parents and children not have to go through what we have gone through. Adult students who may receive a diploma with credits, but not the academic skills to function as a productive person in society. Rhonda, that succinctly sums up everything that we're concerned about and what we are trying to do. To share and turn this over to Polly and let you introduce yourself, Polly, and share with them your views on the necessity to organize parents around the issues we share in special education.
Good evening. My name is Polly DeCrease. I reside in Claymont, Delaware. And yes, I'm here with Marilyn, who was run out of Delaware by practicing unauthorized law. Back when Marilyn said that she would help us with our issues, there wasn't anyone then to help us. I worked for an attorney, and I went to him and I said, can you put me in contact with someone who practices educational law? And other than defending the school districts, I couldn't find anybody here. So we used a lay advocate, and we won our case. We only wanted one thing. We wanted our son to read. We had to have a battle of our life. Our whole family was turned upside down just to get him to learn to read. And once he was in the private placement, it took less than a year for him to learn to read. So out of our battle, we did gain an educated son, but a lot of other parents have suffered because then no one else could get the help that they needed. I've run into people who have left the state of Delaware to get better services for their children, and they're still not getting what are appropriate services, but they're certainly getting better services. And still today, I have never met a lawyer in the state of Delaware or have heard of any elsewhere. There could have been some, but I haven't met them. And even if there were some attorneys, how many of us can afford attorneys? So there's a big need for us to group together, get our issues and comments and wants and needs presented to our new administration, and get some of the things our children need, in this time.
Nick, would you like to share anything with the folks out there?
Yes, my name is Nick DeCrease, and I live here in Delaware, Wilmington, Delaware. And it was a real struggle with me going from the age that I can remember. I think it was 11, 12 years old. I was in public schools and middle school. I was having a lot of problems with not being able to read. So every time they would want me to read or do some kind of schoolwork, I couldn't do it. And I would act out, and I was embarrassed because I couldn't do it. So instead of somebody taking the time to actually sit down with me and explain to me what's going on, how to read, how to do things, they would just push me in the back of the room, push me into the hallway, and consider me special ed, and nobody would help me out. So not until Maryland did push everything and beat the court system and Brandywine School District to approve for me to go to a boarding school, I went out to a place in Virginia, Charlottesville, Virginia, and within at least 1 year I was going from a first grade to a fifth grade reading level. So it is definitely a proven fact, and I know it can help. If somebody has the right help and the right resources, you can learn to read and you can learn how to get by. And I think if it wasn't for that 1 year of help, I don't think I would have gotten as far as I did now.
And Nick, with the folks who are looking at this YouTube video, they're clearly going to see that you're in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
So they must be thinking to themselves, he can't read, apparently he can't walk either. So were you in a wheelchair at the time, and briefly, can you share with them your current situation?
Okay, yeah. The year of, it was June 9th of 2007, I got into a motorcycle accident, and I become paraplegic. I broke my back in thoracic 6, 7, and 8, and it was just a bad accident. I was going too fast and crashed. So it had nothing to do with really reading, had nothing to do with any of that. I was actually really successful. I was owning my own business and had my own house. I was independent, and I think with being able to read and get by in life, that the help that I did get helped out a lot. And just because I'm in a chair doesn't mean anything's different. I'm still the same guy. I just can't walk. I sit instead of stand.
Nick, for all those folks out there, to wrap up this second video, would you be willing to be a spokesperson to answer some emails from some parents or some disabled students who are maybe now adults, and let them communicate with you, and you can talk back and forth through the email? Would you be willing to do that?
Yes, absolutely. I would help anybody that needs help.
And is there an email address by which, or do you want them to go through me and I will forward it to you? What do you prefer?
The best thing to do is go through Marilyn, let her figure out what we need, and then I can do whatever you need me to do to help out.
Great. Again, that website, the address is glovespti@yahoo.com.